why you should teach programming. This is something I've been doing for a year now, and I started doing it at a STEM Academy, and boy, I've been loving it. As one of those people that used to love to go on the internet, and I still do, and give programming tips, everything from answering questions to showing people new things I've done, I really just love to talk about programming in general. And I was offered an opportunity where I work to teach at a STEM Academy. Now this was pretty cool because I've taken college classes before. I've been that student that comes out of it and just says, I really think that teacher didn't do a good job. I know I could do a better job. Now what I learned is it's not as easy as you might think. Like for one, you have to create homework assignments that are not only testing the person, where you can't copy things off Google, and also it has to be easy to a certain degree to grade, because if you've got 20, 30 students and they're doing 2 homework assignments a week, that's a lot for you to grade. Now I understand a lot of professors have TAs to do this, but I didn't in this case. Now beyond that, you have to develop a curriculum, and that's harder than it sounds, because you might know how you learn, but when you go to actually teach it, you'll realize that starting from the base, not knowing anything about programming, there are certain concepts that you almost have to learn at the same time, and yet at the same time they're too much to learn at the same time. I haven't found a way through where I don't have to say, I'll explain this little thing here later. We'll get to it later. Another thing is you don't want to just start with the basics all the way up, because the basics can be really boring. And if these high school students like who I taught, you don't want them to lose attention. You want them to enjoy it. So there's a lot to teaching programming, more than what I've gone through here. And for somebody like me who would take college classes and say, I bet I can teach that class, I was right, but it was a lot harder than I thought it was. Another thing I like about it is I actually feel like I'm doing a good thing for the world. If there is a heaven, I feel like I've earned my way into it now. If I'm looking at the world and thinking it's not such a great place, well, at least I know I'm doing my part to make it better using the skills I have to do so. So the harder part is, how do you get into teaching and programming? Well, I know there are some things online to do it. And if you work somewhere or are involved in some organization that does a STEM Academy, you could certainly offer to do this. You could try teaching your own class, kind of ad hoc, just start something with Zoom. I mean, these days, everybody's working from home anyway. We have the technology to teach remotely, which is what I've been doing for the last 2 semesters. I do prefer it in person, but that's not a choice right now. So there are ways to do it. I can't really tell you exactly how to get into it, because I got into it through my job. So if your job offers something like that to allow you to teach in some kind of program like that, I highly recommend it. Out of all the things I've done in the last few years, and maybe even more than that, it's been the most rewarding thing. In fact, it may be the most rewarding thing I've ever done. And I really just love to see those kids, the few that do anyway, it's not all of them, but the ones that really latch on to programming, the ones that are getting near the end of that problem, and you can see them getting excited, and all of a sudden all they want to do is talk about it and talk about what they did and ask questions. You can see that same spark. And for me, knowing that I may have just shown somebody this thing that's made my life objectively better just makes me really happy. So if you're somebody who likes to help people on the internet, or just likes programming in general, I would recommend looking into it. How can you actually teach a class to people that are trying to get into programming? It's a lot of effort, I'll say that, but to me it's been really worth it. So yeah, if you like this video, you can subscribe down below, leave a comment if you agree or disagree with me, or if you know any opportunities for normal people, or people that have programming experience to get into teaching programming at some kind of STEM Academy or something else, definitely comment below so other people can get into that kind of thing. Have a good one.